या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मीरारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। पूज्य माँ भगवती, पूज्य Sri Arvind, you all are the chosen children of our Divine Mother. The very decisive step that Sri Aurobindo was destined to leave, the decisive step of the Supreme. So there is a difference between work of the incarnation and the work of the Supreme directly. The work of the Supreme is cosmic work, and work of the incarnation is time-bound work. So the decisive work, and that was direct from the Supreme, as Mother defined it, is supramental transformation of the earthly nature. Physicality at cosmic level, physicality at universal level, and physicality at individual level to be simultaneously transformed. So matter is to be transformed into divine matter. Mind is to be transformed into supramental. Vitality is to be transformed into Einstein's capital energy. Where science and spirituality are clubbed together in such a way that it can start impacting upon the entire existence, whether it is visible or invisible. So visible world and invisible world are both the layers are related to cosmos, are related to microcosmic reality and macrocosmic reality too. So nothing that was left out when Mother declared Sri Aurobindo is a decisive action direct from the Supreme. On that moment, the assignment that was given to Sri Aurobindo by the Supreme Rutam Bruhat Satyam, the Trinity in one, that was in Vedanta, the Supreme Reality, Absolute Reality, Paratpar Parabrahma. ये Paratpar Parabrahma, Paratpar Avastha, that is the unique reality ultimately assigned Sri Aurobindo, physicality, vitality and mentality of Sri Aurobindo as human body was given this assignment, that now no longer evolution, no longer any evolutionary pralay, hallucination, illusion, and annihilation. So nothing is Maya, everything is Yog Maya. Nothing is Maya, everything is reality. It appears to be relativity, but virtually it is reality and nothing else. Now, the entire scenario as decisive act on the part of the Supreme is presented before Satprem. And in order to accelerate this movement of decisive action on the earth, along with the lifespan of Sri Aurobindo individually. So Sri Aurobindo was not merely a Rishi, was not merely a Maharshi, was not merely a Vibhuti, was not merely an avatar. It is the decisive action direct from the Supreme. And historically, Lord Krishna met Sri Aurobindo in Alipur jail, assigned this work to Sri Aurobindo. Now, Lord Krishna as such, who was Ram, who admitted also in the time of Lord Krishna that he was Ram, and now his account is being settled now. At the end of the departure of Lord Krishna admitted that my account with you has already been settled. Now, you are at present nimit, only instrumental. And I am to make the repayment of what I did. But it was my Leela. Thoroughly it was my Leela. But that has also to be so justified that whatever you do is to be paid, whatever you do is to be repaid, and whatever you do is, if it is for penalty, to be penalized, and if it is for reward, it's to be rewarded. That is my Leela, nothing else. There is no hard and stern law as such, but being a supreme reality, being a supreme force, being a supreme energy, I must follow the code of conduct as a part of my play. I have decided I must put into practice without any exception. So Sri Aurobindo ultimately accepted the mandate from Sri Krishna directly and put into action. That is supramental. Supramental is not merely a hypothesis. Supramentalization is not merely a scientific process. Supramentalization is the process of divinization, but at the level of relativity, it was given such a nomenclature that is to be taken into account for us. And Satprem was given to understand that this was not merely illusionary hallucination, not accessible even to science, to the psychologists, to the scholars of the world, does not mean that that phenomenon as such is not being motivated by the Supreme directly. It is through Sri Aurobindo launch, but decision, action, velocity, and the reality that was given to the earth, given to the human race directly from the Supreme. Indeed, it was latent, since that same mind of the cells exists in animals. And that starts with the mind, because up till mind, up to the level of mental consciousness evolution has reached in our body. Here, Mother point out the three different minds to Satprem. Corporeal mind, that is mind of the body, and physical mind, but de jure physical mind, is not the real physical mind. The mind that we possess, the mind that is our master, and the mind that makes us the victims is corporeal mind, is mind of the body, and is de jure mind, is not de facto mind. It is below mental consciousness. It is the slightest emergence of mental consciousness, and that is why it has been diverted, and it has been diverted with entire Prakriti, because it was the spark of divinity that for the first time ever appeared on the surface of the level of consciousness. But the purity, innocence, divinity, reality, and virtual existence of that consciousness is there hidden in the cell. There also it is veiled. And veiled means it is under the pressure of Prakriti, it is under the pressure of slow and tardy process, under it is the pressure of all negativities. So that has to be brought out and ultimately given freedom to it. Vedanta tried, sincerely tried, but left it when it was the concrete physicality that was so hard and stern that it can't be transformed, it can't be transfigured. It is transformed, but very slowly and tardy. Sri Aurobindo has written, evolution as such is a very slow and tardy process, where latent potentiality, hidden potentiality is gradually emerging and changing the cells. As we became man from human beings, man from animals, plants to from plants to animal, from amoeba to plants, bacteria, viral microbes. This is what the slow and tardy process that will take place hereafter also, even after mind. And mind will start taking shape after billions and billions of the years. But when assignment was given to Sri Aurobindo by Lord Krishna himself, and who wanted to change the time also, and who wanted to change the space also. So the time that is likely to take place and likely to be spent as billions and billions of years, that is Kalikar is ended and Satyug is to be brought down. According to Christianity, it is kingdom of God is to be brought down. What Christ could not do, Sri Aurobindo, receiving the direct action from the Supreme and mandate for the direct action of the Supreme, did it, and Sri Aurobindo started it with mind, not with body, not with anything else, not with concrete physicality, vitality and mentality. Sri Aurobindo started it with mind. Dhyan, Dharana and Samadhi, Patanjali Yoga Sutra suggest that these are all are the 8 different stages, 8 different aspects of yoga. Sri Aurobindo left first 5 and only selected 3, Dhyan, Dharana and Samadhi. And Dhyan is related to mind. Dhyan is related to concentration, contemplation and meditation. And Sri Aurobindo started it with meditation. Karmic gods, theory of karma, अनासक्त योग, ज्ञान योग, सांख्य योग, भक्ति योग, द्रव्य योग, Hemchandracharya Suriji Maharaj propounded, or any such things and any such yogas prevalent in the world in all different practices of different religions have been also so summed up that the fundamental truth of all of them has been so well integrated, but at the level of mind. At the level of mind. And that mind was to be picked up. And mind was to be picked up in such a way that it is the mental consciousness, the advanced consciousness, but pure consciousness, divine consciousness, absolute consciousness, it is the spark of all these things. So that spark is to be found out from the cell, and that is the mind of light, and that is the mind of cell. So mind of cell has already been inculcated to mother by Sri Aurobindo after supramental descent. So supramental spark is there in the mind of cell. So that supramental spark which was latent in the mind of cells has to be awakened. And if it is to be awakened with psychic, then only this programming can be launched successfully and timely. The consciousness in contact with the cells is a mantra. It is the undoing of habit, and thus we understand that matter can become anything. There is a total freedom of choice, provided we find the way to be in contact with the cells. It is with the contact of the cell we can get this mystery open, awakened, realistic and accessible. So the three layers of mind, as I told you, are all three layers are to be pinpointedly understood, are to be appropriately and in toto understood by the mother, and mother did understand them, and mother presented before Satprem that it is the mind of the shell that is the mind of the light, and mind of the light is the physical mind de facto. The genuine true physical mind is there in the cells. It is not as it appears to be to us as corporeal mind. So the difference between corporeal mind and the genuine physical mind is to be first of all understood by us. Then only we can enter into the cellular reality, cellular light and cellular mind that is there in the cells, and that cellular mind is to be made instrument to bring down supramental in individual and to bring down supramental actively on earth. Supramental was descended down on the earth on 29th of February, but was not made so active that it can three different layers start activated dynamically. Sri Aurobindo, there is even a type of mind in the atom. There is a type of mind in the atom. Atom means cell. It is that mind of the cells which quietly and harmoniously spins the habits of every species. Every species, eko hum bahushyama, the entire universe with all different species also can be formulated with the new pattern which is created, and it is the new pattern which is launched on earth, on planet. Without the complications and crystallizations added on our human physical mind. And this is physical mind. Physical mind is cellular mind. Physical mind is the mind in the cell. Physical mind is the light in the cell. Physical mind is immortality in the cell. And that goes with the body. That has to be reawakened and that has to be reawakened with the help of the mind. Mind should be so positive, so dedicative, so surrendered to the psychic that mind can pick up the force, hidden force of light, hidden force of divine, and hidden force of immortality that is latent in the cell. Hence, in her cellular substance, mother was not only at the pre-human stage, but more radically still at the original stage of our first cell on earth. See, mother is not merely a mother who is possessing as her body the cellular patterns as human being at present in this present birth. Mother was the very first cell. It is the mother, divinity, absolute divinity, reality, and immortality of the very first cell at the time of the very first existence that came into visibility. First cell on earth, before it started to spin any habit, she was at the beginning of the world. She was at the beginning of the world. She was the very first entity, cellular entity, human entity, physical entity, vital entity, and mental entity as human being. So totality was there, but it was hidden because wavelength was not set, frequency was not set. The evolution after that one and one perfect body was not up to the mark to receive and to reciprocate to that center of the new world. And that is what the very reason why so many cycles of the yugas were required. This is what at present the Kali Yuga that is going on is the seventh world. This world is the seventh world. So 6 were already annihilated, and this is the seventh one. This is the seventh Kali Yuga. That was seventh Satyug, that was seventh Dwapar Yuga, that was seventh Treta Yuga, and this is seventh Kali Yuga, and that is to be ended. That is the decisive action direct from the Supreme, and that was transmitted to Sri Aurobindo, and now it is executed by Mother, but at the mental level. The starting point of this new yoga, because time is to be shortened. Now no more time as such is to be wasted. It should be taken and accelerated as early as possible. That is the decisive action of the Supreme, what Sri Aurobindo put into practice, and Mother also did put it into practice, because now Ardhanari Nateswar, as Bhagwan Shiv and Parvati, the feminine consciousness and masculine consciousness, both are to be brought down on the earth, both are to be given the shape, and both are to be made so dynamically live on the earth that Ahar, Nindra, Bhay and Maithun, they are all to be eradicated. Srushti, entire world, entire existence is meant for Rutam Bruhat Satyam, but is meant for Satchidanand. It is Satchidanand that is to be the nature of the new existence, but it should be started with the mind. So if we are to collaborate it, we are also to be so disciplined that taking it for granted the whole purview of the action of the Supreme directly, we must also make our life accordingly. And she had great difficulty not being dispersed in the great cultural medium. The initial reaction of any living matter is to protect itself, to build walls. Now, Mother, when started in this birth, that is after Sri Aurobindo's passing away in 58, she started At that time, she also started facing so many radical objections, so many radical obstacles, so many hurdles as such, because it is mind that is the so naturally trained up that it can see minus first, plus later on. It doesn't find out quality, it always find out drawbacks because negativity of mind is to be eradicated, and a negativity of mind will not find out positivity. So mother as divine mother, as Mahashakti also, faced as an ordinary man with corporeal mind, faces the problem. Similar problems were faced by the mother too at this stage. Though she received mind of light, she received assurance from Sri Aurobindo, and thereafter also, as agenda stands witness to this, that supramental body of Sri Aurobindo many a time presented before mother and instructed and guided her to just chalk out the track. The vibration of the mantra in each cell, and it is the vibration of mantra that mother banked upon, and that also was authenticated by Sri Aurobindo himself. So this is the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Ramaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Satyanarayana, Om Namo Bhagavate Parsuramaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vamanaya. Not like that. Om Namo Bhagavate, full point. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that is also not. Why? Because he himself is Krishna. He himself is Krishna. And mother herself is Radha. Mother herself is Radha. So mother and Sri Aurobindo, Radha and Krishna are destined, and it was the decisive action of the Supreme Paratpar to implement, to launch the new time and new space after Lord Krishna. So Sri Aurobindo also became Lord Krishna, and mother became Radha, and launched supramental on the ground in order to conclude all different deformities of the mind and ascend mind in such a way that it can be the existence of over mental consciousness. Sarhom, that is what mother defines. And mother is at present cellular transformation. The project undertaken by her is meant for transforming the entire universe, transforming the entire humanity, transforming the entire world with time and space. The vibration of the mantra in each cell provided that protective wall, a network of vibrations dense enough to resist both the contagion of the environment and dispersion. Now, there are certain forces also simultaneously works and simultaneously existing against this supramental touch, against this supramental motivation, against this supramental acceleration. And they are also to be stopped, they are also to be removed. And after that, after it is the birth of a new species, as simple as that, automatically. After that, what will happen? The birth of a new species automatically. But birth of a new species will take place thereafter. First of all, mother also will have to give birth to her own body. When Ahar, Nindra, Bhay and Maithun are not there, then how can that germination will take place? How can the process of production will go on? how can the biological process will continue? Because it will be new biology, it will be new anatomy, it will be new anatomy of divine matter, it will be new anatomy of the cellular, physical, vital, mental and divine matter of immortality. So all these concepts are to be so integrated that we can at least have the nucleus, that is hypothetically we try to launch, bears so many orbits as such. But instead of an obscure, unconscious kind of automatism that spins habits as the result of random stimuli or because of the lack of food in a certain climatic zone or because of any of the conditions. Lack of food, that is no ahar, no food, no energy to be gained from any material thing. Energy can be regained from nature, from prakriti, from cells, and through cells from supramental. It's a conscious automatism. See, it is a conscious automatism. And conscious automatism means automatism of the consciousness, for consciousness, by consciousness. It is the supramental consciousness that is to be established there in all patterns of body, and that is what Mother is experimenting, which will gradually remold or refashion the nature of its body without falling prey to any habit, without being prey to any mental habit, any mental dead habit, or any vital physical dead habit. Now Mother is so cautious all the while that the awakened cells just get themselves remold in one particular pattern, and that pattern in series can be just formulated, and so formulated that it becomes the framework of a new divine matter of its body, without falling prey to any habit, nor it has none, or shall we say, according to a new kind of habit, a new way of being, and this will be the new kind of habit, new way of being. We at present, with our mentality, with our mind, cannot imagine what will be the nature of new mind, because we are habituated with the dead habits of the mind. And in whichever format we can identify mind, that is dead mind, that is present mind, that is present corporeal mind, is not the absolute mental. It's not mental mind, rather. It is below mind. And below mind, and that is why psychologists also admit and neurologists also admit that 1/3 of mind is being utilized by us. Most of the part of the brain and mind, they are wasted because we don't know the modus operandi. Even mind does not know the modus operandi, what it is. So it is below mind we are living, and below mind is taken for granted by us as scholar, as scholastic, as genius, whatnot. So this is what the ignorance that plays realistically. Being in the world. In other words, a new species being slowly developed from within on the basis of the only mind it has left. The only mind it has left, it is the mind, not physicality, not vitality. It is the mind, whatever it is, that it might be just at the level of its bottom, below ordinary level, but still that mind has to be so utilized, because up to this level evolution ultimately evolved the entire existence. So that has to be picked up, and it has to be developed and developed into other species on the basis of the only mind it has left, the mind of the cells, the mind of the cells. And that mind of the cells is the reality of tomorrow, and tomorrow it will have to be taken into account by individual, by cosmos, by universe, because mother created that body, the very first icon of the supramental being in her own body, without having ahar, nindra, bhai, maithun as processes prevalent and practicable to our evolutionary march.